Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be a reflection on 2023 and looking forward to 2024. So let's just jump right in. If you are new here, I'm Jamie. Welcome to Simply Jaylyn. Make sure you hit the red subscribe button down below so you don't miss any more of my videos. And this is pretty much where I share my life. I share whatever I want to over here. If I'm in the mood to share a recipe, I share it. But most of the content is chronic illness, day in the life. Occasionally I share fashion videos because I like my clothes. I like clothes a lot. So yeah, so pretty much you'll find anything you could probably think of on this channel. And without further ado, let's get started with this video. So I'm doing this a little bit different. I've got a new planner for 2024 and it had like a setup in the planner with all this stuff, and I thought, you know, this would be cool to fill it out for 2023 and do a video of it. So I wrote it down on a piece of paper. It's continued on the back. So that way I don't forget anything. I'm trying to stick, like each category had a section. I'm trying to stick to 3 per category, that way this video isn't forever long. It starts with your favorite moments of the year, and for me, and these aren't in any particular order, it's just kind of how I thought of them. The first one is getting to see the Mary Todd Lincoln House. I live in Kentucky, was born and raised in Kentucky, and have never seen the Mary Todd Lincoln House, which is sad. Well, in October, when I had to go to a doctor's appointment in Lexington, we went past it, and I told my mom, I said, there it is. So we turned around, and that morning we saw the Mary Todd Lincoln House. So that's one of my favorite moments, because I finally got to do something. Because I'd been wanting to see it, but I never got the chance, because we never go that way. So, yep. Which I find it funny. I got to do that because of a doctor's appointment that turned out to not be worth it anyway. And I do have a vlog on that, and I will link it in the cards. Okay, the next one is my new kittens. This year we had 6 new kittens. Oreo, we don't know what happened to him. One day he was there and the next day he wasn't there, so yeah. But that stuff happens at my grandpa's. We just kind of live with it. So now we have 5 6-month-old kittens, and they're playful and amazing. And if you followed me on Instagram at Simply Jaylyn, I will leave, or no, at simply_j.lyn_. I will leave it on the screen, and it's always linked down below in the description box, so you can follow me over there. But that's where you'll get to see new pictures of the kittens, and I will occasionally show them on here. And the final moment for 2023 was getting to see Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper. I've seen Alice Cooper one other time, but it was 11 years ago, so it was nice to get to see that again. And I'd never seen Rob Zombie, and that was interesting. It's an interesting show if you haven't been to him. So, yeah. And it was outdoors in September, and it wasn't blazing hot, so it was nice. Because I don't do heat well. Okay, so what I made happen in 2023. I did a full month of uploads in October. So every day in October I uploaded a video. That month I also did a POTS challenge on Instagram, because if you don't know, October is POTS Awareness Month. And I live with POTS, so yeah. And I also made Vlogmas happen this year. When I was first thinking about it, I was thinking, I wonder if I could do this. And I planned it out, and I thought, okay, we'll get started on it, and if something happens and it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But we did make it happen. Well, I made it happen. And I guess you guys helped with that one, because watching the videos actually is your job, and that helps me out a ton. Every time you guys comment or like a video or share it, it helps me out a ton. That's why I always tell you to make sure you give the video a thumbs up and hit the red subscribe button down below if you are not already subscribed. And the last thing I made happen in 2023 was I expanded my Etsy shop. I added one new product, and I added a bundle to my Etsy shop, which is always linked down below in the cards. Or linked down below in the description box. But that was a big deal for me, because I wanted to bundle, but I didn't know if anybody would be interested, and people were. So yes, if you were somebody who buys off my Etsy shop, thank you. Okay, bumps in the road for 2023. I had 3 major chronic illness flares. I started in late January. I got sick, and I ended up in a month-long flare. I flared again in June, and that lasted until July. And then I flared again in November, and that I just got out of that flare like 2 weeks ago. So, yes. I have flares, but very rarely do I flare for a month at a time. And this year I had 3 major flares where I flared for a month at a time. Honestly, I flared for a little over a month this last flare. I got a new diagnosis. I haven't really shared much on this diagnosis because it's just, we're not exactly sure that that's what the diagnosis is. Like, we're pretty sure of what it is, but the doctor thinks it could be something else and wants to do further testing, and the hospital's not letting him, and it's ridiculous. Because I have checked with the insurance several times. The insurance is like, no, you're fine, go ahead, and I get it scheduled, and the hospital cancels it, telling the doctor that I don't need that test. So, yeah. I shared a little bit on it on Instagram, but I haven't really shared much else on here. And the final bump in the road was a job scam. I applied for a job in May. It took me 3 weeks to hear back from the company, because at 3 weeks I was figuring, okay, I'm not going to hear back from this company at all. I'm not even worried about it anymore. Screw it. It just wasn't going to happen. But when I heard back, I went on and did the interview. And the interview was weird. It wasn't a phone interview. It wasn't a Zoom interview. It was an interview through this app called Wire. I had never heard of it before. Maybe I'm living under a rock or something. I don't know. But it was weird. Well, the following Monday, I interviewed on like a Friday. Or no, I interviewed on a Saturday morning, which was also weird. That following Monday, I got a call telling me I had the job. but I needed to message somebody through Wire to tell them I had the job so they could help me with the onboarding process. Through all this, I was told that I would have to buy the equipment for the job, but they would provide me with a check. It took them 3 days to get back to me, telling me they were not going to be able to provide me with a check, but I still needed to provide the equipment myself. So at that point, it was like, yeah, if you have to buy something for a job to do the job, it's not real. And I'm smart enough to know that. So yeah, a job that would have been a really great opportunity. Like, I was literally going to work 20 hours a week and be making $50,000 a year. So, yeah. Talk about, like, and it was remote. I could work from home. I didn't have to travel for it. It was, like, the perfect job for somebody with a chronic illness. And it turned out to be complete and utter bullshit. I'm not going to share what company it was. I'm just going to tell you to be wary of stuff like that. So the next category for this is lessons learned. And the first one is that it is okay to leave a bad situation. I did a video on this if you want more information on what situation I left, what went down, and all that shit. I will leave it in the cards. Next lesson learned is if you are not getting the help you need, then find someone or something else to give you that help. And this kind of goes into a lot of things. Mainly for me, it's health related because I have switched doctors. I've seen other doctors, and like, if you're not new here, you have been through the whole thing of every time I see the cardiologist, it's just stupid. He doesn't help me. So this year I went to see another cardiologist. Nope, same thing, didn't help me. So I'm still in the process of trying to find a doctor who can help me, or at least a cardiologist who can help me. Okay. And the third lesson learned is sometimes you were better off cutting your losses and moving on. This kind of goes back to being in a bad situation, and honestly, sometimes you are just better off cutting your losses and moving on. If you invested something, sometimes you're better off to say, screw it, I lost whatever I invested and I'm just not. And others, it's just, and other times it's not, it doesn't have anything to do with money, it's just in general. The next category is how to improve. I don't necessarily like this category, but I am going to kind of talk through it a little bit. My number one goal basically for how to improve, the number one thing in this category is stay consistent. If I'm consistently working on myself and consistently trying to take care of myself, then I'm improving something. Number two is allowing my body to rest and listening to it when it tells me to slow down and that I need to rest. I say this every year, and since I got my POTS diagnosis, I have said this even more, and I'm still working on this. Okay, the final one for this is don't let people get to you, and get away when you need to, which I kind of already talked about. And I know not letting people get to you is sometimes the hardest thing, because it doesn't matter how old you are. And I honestly don't care what people think. I'm at the point of fuck it, I don't care. But at the same time, depending on what the situation is, people are still going to get to you. And sometimes you're just better off getting away from it. This one isn't really divided into subcategories or categories at all. This is just kind of how will you remember 2023. And I want to get this right, so I am going to read this verbatim as how I wrote it. 2023 was a tough year physically and mentally, but I feel as I came out on top, I learned some stuff and I let go of other stuff, but I still have stuff to work on. And I really do think that is 2023 in a nutshell. I lived and I learned, and I'm going to keep living and learning because this year was tough in multiple ways. My chronic illness, just dealing with people who just sometimes it just isn't worth dealing with, and some other stuff as well. So yeah, okay, so looking forward to 2024, I am going to share my goals in my Plan With Me video, which will be the next video I post and should be out January 1st. I do have some stuff that I am looking forward to doing. Like, we've already got 3 events planned and scheduled for 2024, and I'm really hoping that my body cooperates and I get to do all 3. I hope to have a year with less flares so I can accomplish more, but I don't want to push myself too far. But at the same time, that does not necessarily, even though I want a year with less flares, that does not mean I'm going to have a year with less flares. Like 2023 I did not plan to have 3 major flares and then small ones in between, and that's just kind of how it happened. So I can't really plan on anything as much as I would love to be able to plan all this stuff and say, okay, this is going to happen and I'm not going to flare as much. That's not how this works. So I want to work on myself physically and mentally, and a big part of that is going to be distancing myself from certain people and certain situations. Like right now, I kind of want to focus on more physical, because I know my physical health has gone downhill since coming out of this last flare, because it just has. But in the same time, my mental health is not where it needs to be, and honestly, if I feel better mentally, I'm going to feel better physically, and I know that. But a lot of me feeling better in general is me dealing with my chronic illness and actually taking care of myself. And sometimes that involves cutting out people that just are not helping me and just are not supporting me. So yeah, honestly, it sounds harsh, but I want to work on myself this year. I want to work on stuff that's going to help me grow, that's going to help me succeed. And sometimes sometimes there's a harsh reality to that. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you my goals for next year, but I am going to give you the word of the year. My word of the year for 2024 is improvement. I chose the word improvement mainly because I want 2024 to be a year of improvement, improving myself, improving, yeah, basically, I want to improve. I want to improve where I'm at in my life, my health, my mental health, other situations I'm in. I want to improve that. I want to work towards some kind of improvement that's going to help me in the future. Like, I know big things are going to happen next year because some of them are already in the works, but in order to do that, I'm going to have to improve myself and the situations that I'm in. So, yeah, so that's going to be it for this 2023 reflection and what I'm looking forward to in 2024. Other than that, thank you for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Hit the red subscribe button down below. And I will see you in 2024. So, Happy New Year and bye-bye.